Good morning, Kitchen Witches. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, and this is your tarot and menu inspiration for the day. I'm Chef Lisa, editor-in-chief of A Chef's Grimoire magazine. And we're going to pull one card, and that's going to give us our inspiration and all our meals for the day. So cool. We've been doing this with the magazine. Our first magazine came out in January of this year. And it is a quarterly magazine. And this is what we do. We pull a card, and that is the theme of what the recipes are going to be throughout the magazine. It could be one card, it could be 3 cards. It all depends, right? So yeah, if you want to learn more, there'll be all the information in the show notes. What is our card though today? For the 30th of June. Let's see. Ready? Yeah. Okay. So we have the 8. The 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands. Now, this is a minor arcana. Minor arcanas are ruled by a major. So the major arcana that's numbered 8 is strength. So this card is basically depicted as 8 wands that are moving through the air, right? So, I mean, one would think, given the overall essence of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, that it could be they're moving through the air in a battle, right? So with 8 staves or wands moving through the air, they're obviously going to do some damage when they land. So it could be the last firing of whatever it took strength-wise to win the battle, right? Could be. I'm just really making sense of the card, right? As looking at this for the first time. Why else would 8 wands be flying through the air? But now let's dig a little deeper. So we know that strength is the underlining essence of this card, right? Strength has its power and magic into this card. 8 is a number that is very, think of the way it's shaped, right? It's bulbous at the bottom and bulbous at the top. So it's full and full. So it's basically a manifestation number. Because if you break 8 down, it's 4 and 4, which are structure, right? Full. So everything from a structural place has come to a place of great gravity that is holding everything in place. So now we're moving on to wands, which wands is the element of fire and passion. So we've got this very don't even want to say structured, but a manifestation that has all the fire and passion under it, that is now, and the strength under it to move forward. So it's fast, right? There's no more thinking. There's no more collecting of things, right? There's no more emotions that we have to feel. It's just going for it, right? It's the wands flying through the air, and in their flight, they've already made their conscious understanding of where they're going to land. So it's fast energy. So think of all the things today that maybe you can put the seal of approval on, right? Maybe Monday they were piled on your desk, but Tuesday now you're closing the deal, or you're on the way to it, and you know it's going to be a fast and furious ending that's going to benefit all. So that's what you're thinking about today, right? Maybe, obviously, the kids are out of school now, right? So routines are kind of lax, right? You don't have to wake up at the crack of dawn to get them ready, to have breakfast on the table, send them off to their school bus, or bring them to school, whatever, right? The routines are broken now. So now it's like they can sleep in, maybe you can read a book, it's a little more loungy in the morning times. It's not as hectic, but you have a plan, right? So maybe today, it's Tuesday, maybe today you're going to bring them to the water park. So it's going to be a great day. It's going to, your wands are flying through the air because everybody's excited about what's going to happen. And you go there, it's a great day, it's quick, but it's satisfying to all. And then you come home and you can relax. So you have a beginning, you know where you're going, you know where everything's going to land, you know that everybody is going to have a great time, and the ending is also pleasant. 8 of Wands, right? So, fast, furious, you know where you're going, you're sending out the wands. So now we're going to do that in the kitchen. And I'm thinking, let me see here. Consult my cheat sheet. 8 of Wands. Fast meals. Yeah, right. Because you have no time. You've got an agenda today. Even though it's laxed and not on schedule, it's still an agenda. And we want to get our meals done quick. So, for breakfast, why don't we start the day with a sweet potato toast? Have you ever tried this? If you have a traditional toaster, it's a lot of fun to do. You cut the sweet potatoes so they look like, they're about, ½ inch thick. And then you put them in the toaster. And when they pop up, you've got toasted sweet potato. If you don't have a toaster, you can do it in the oven, right? Just set them on the grates of the oven. You don't even have to put them on a sheet tray. And you toast them up as you would toast in your oven. And from being only a ½ inch thick, after 2 toasts, one on one side, one on the other, they should be cooked all the way through. And you want them a little al dente. You don't want them mushy, right? Doesn't work. You got to have them a little al dente so that you can pick them up like toast. And then I'm thinking you can spread them once they're cool with a little peanut butter and sliced banana. Yum. If you want, and you really want the protein, fry up some bacon, crumble that on top. Yeah, really, really good. And your kids will love it. Everybody loves it. A sweet potato with peanut butter and banana, come on. So, it's done in 10 minutes if you really have your act together. And it's a fast and furious breakfast that everybody will love on an 8 of Wands day. Moving on to lunch. This is a 20-minute meal, right? Which you could go out to eat for. You can go to the Indian restaurant if you wish, but I'm thinking Indian. And it's a grown shrimp. I think I'm saying that correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Goan, Goan, shrimp curry. And you can buy the shrimp curry sauce in a jar if you have forethought, right? On your way, if you're out for breakfast, you can grab one and come home and make it. But you're going to sear your shrimp, you're going to add the sauce, and you can get a recipe on the internet for this. Easy peasy. And then you're going to serve it with basmati rice. So I know they make the packages of rice that are already pre-cooked, and all you have to do is pop them in the microwave. Perfectly fine. We're doing 8 of Wands meals, so we want them nice and fast. You could do that. Yesterday, I gave examples of how to make rice from scratch without a rice maker. So if you want to tune into that one, it works for any rice, especially basmati. So, and you're going to have your grown shrimp over the basmati rice for a lovely lunch. Quick, easy. Next, for dinner, you're going to pull out your air fryer. And we're going to do air fried pork chops. And the pork chops you can serve with applesauce, which most people have the little cups of applesauce in the refrigerator, and maybe some steamed broccoli, because that takes next to no time. Or throw the broccoli on top of the pork chops in the air fryer. Now, if you don't have an air fryer, you can do the chops in the pan. It's just going to be as quick, just a little bit more to clean up. But how I do my pork chops, you're going to laugh, but this is the way I do them. I use an ice cold pan, and I'm not saying ice cold, but cold right from my drawer or wherever you keep your pans. And then you take your pork chops, you massage them a little bit with olive oil, season them up with salt and pepper. But here's the key. You take some brown sugar and you put a little sugar on the chop as well. A little bit, not a lot. Rub that into the tops of the pork chops. You take the cold pork chops and you put them sugared and seasoned side down in the cold pan. Then you make sure you press them down so that they make contact with the bottom of the pan. Then you put them on the stovetop. You turn your stovetop to a medium and you're listening for the chops to start to sizzle. Once they do, give it a minute and look for the browning to start around the edges of the chop. Then you flip them. You have some chicken stock ready to go, like a 1/4 cup, or white wine, or whatever you want to use for your liquid. It could be leftover gravy, whatever. Once you hear that sizzle and that minute is up, you're going to flip your chops. They should be beautifully browned because the sugar helps to brown them in a quick fashion. And you're going to douse it with whatever the liquid is, white wine, chicken broth, gravy from last night, whatever. And as soon as you put the liquid in, cover. So make sure the pan you're using has a tight cover. Cover the pan, and now you're going to cook the chop the rest of the way in the liquid. And that's going to be a more gentle way of cooking the pork chops so that they don't turn dry and they don't overcook. Because now they're going to be in the pan for maybe 4 minutes, if they're like a 1 to 1.5 inch chop. And then you can, after 4 minutes, 5 minutes max, you're going to take off the lid and you're going to test them for an internal temperature of 140 degrees. 145 is okay. With pork, you want the inside to be a little bit pink. It's okay. If you go to 165, which used to be what pork needed to be cooked to, it's often dry and even cooked in the liquid as we're doing, it just isn't tender and juicy. So 140, 145 internal temperature, you're spot on. And listen, in cooking it to 165, it's going to be longer in the pan, and we're doing quick meals. So pork chops. And if you are doing it on the stovetop, after you flip them and put the liquid in, that's when you would add your veg. So you can add your raw broccoli, you can add your raw cauliflower into the same pan with the chops, put the lid on, they'll steam while the chops finish cooking. Done. So, quick meals on a Tuesday with the 8 of Wands. Enjoy, guys. As always, nourish yourself. Nourish those around you with all your kitchen magic. I'll see you tomorrow.